Reach the hyperlocal audience in Montgomery County? Lone Star Community Radio sponsorships accomplish this. Want to see our stats and rates? Check out ourlonestar.com/sponsor for more information. Or call in and leave us a message at 936-647-3776 with your questions. Get seen on TV, YouTube, and heard on our podcast, FM, and internet radio. Support your local radio station with Lone Star Community Radio.
Hey y'all, it's DJ Mike from Dance Time in Texas. Join me Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. as I count down the top 10 Texas Red Dirt songs that are packing the dance floor. I'll be featuring local artists and the story behind the hits, shows in the area, as well as new songs that make you want to dance. It's Dance Time in Texas with DJ Mike on Lone Star Community Radio, 104.5 KCZW and 106.1 KZCC, Conroe, Texas, or online, irlonestar.com.
Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
You're listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZW LP Conroe.
And 106.1 KZCC LP Conroe. And worldwide on irlonestar.com.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's what was that? It is Toast of the Town with Christy and Mel. It is Wednesday. It is noon, and so therefore we are here.
Yay! So happy to be here.
I know.
Amongst the pollen.
I know. And Christy's a little snotty today.
So I went on a walk this morning, you know, and I was walking along, and as I'm walking along the little pond in the neighborhood, I just see pollen pods everywhere, and I'm like, oh, that explains it.
Yeah, it does. It does.
You know, and then, like, you know, you ever see that meme that says, you know, whenever you're having a rough time or things, or you're kind of in a funk, never to trim your bangs? Well, I did that today. So we've got new bangs.
I was going to ask you about that. And then
yeah, we got new bangs
today. I'm not going
today.
to say anything.
We're going to call these the funky bangs. But every now and then, you know, when you're having a bad week, you know, it's just time to pull out the scissors.
Well, I had a pollen check this morning when I got in the car because I had to use the wipers on dry just to
get it
see
cleaned
it
up.
out.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, kind of crazy times.
But I don't have pollen issues. Everybody else in my family, in my life, in my world around me, and I don't.
Am like dying.
It's the only thing that's not wrong with me.
Yeah. Well, you know, and it's like one of those things too where, you know, I never really think about having allergies or having allergy issues, but this year it has really just kind of whooped my butt. And, you know, whenever it started coming on Monday, somebody said, oh, you have cook-off flu. But I was like, no, it really is. It's the pollen. It's killing me. But yeah, it was a good time. But anyway, so here we are. But it is a lovely day outside.
It is.
A little cooler than it was yesterday, thank goodness.
I know, and dry and crisp.
I was not ready for summer to hit yesterday like it did.
No, it didn't. And I ordered the kids Christmas. I know, 24 and 20, and I'm still doing Easter baskets. And yesterday, the hottest day we've had, the box sat out there on the. I think it's fine. I think it's
so.
Fine. It was, yeah. It's fine.
I know. I was like, Christmas.
It's fine.
She never has it together that well. I know that. Ordering for Christmas. No way in hell.
No,
okay.
Easter.
So before we introduce our guests and get rolling, because I think we're going to have a lot to talk about today, I do want to mention one event that is coming up tomorrow, and it is the Family Promise Annual Spring Luncheon. It is going to be held at the Woodlands Hills Event Center on 8:30 in the new Woodlands Hills subdivision. The Howard Hughes Corporation has developed that. Anyway, if you are familiar with Family Promise in Montgomery County, what they do is they help families that are in need with 90 days of housing and food and education and getting them ready to kind of get back on their feet. It starts at 11:30 tomorrow and goes to 1 p.m. Tickets are still available at familypromiseofmc.org. If you are free for lunch tomorrow, go buy a ticket or a whole table.
It was one of the most inspirational things.
Yeah,
that I've been to.
it's a
You
really
and I
great
went a couple
luncheon,
years ago.
a really great cause, and this is a very important fundraiser for them. So if you have a chance and you're free for lunch, go out there. And if you haven't been out to Woodland Hills anyway, it's absolutely gorgeous. So it's going to be a good day to take a little drive. So. And if you have any questions, you can contact our friend Marilyn Kasprzak. I know 90% of the people out there
Yeah, y'all know
in our
her.
listening area know who she is. So make sure you go out there and support Family Promise of
She
Montgomery
has a
County.
name almost as bad as yours.
What are you talking about?
Her last
Bad.
name's Kasprzak.
It's not bad. Maybe complicated or
Complicated, not
hard
bad.
to spell.
Complicated. I'm sorry, not bad. I just looked across the table and I thought, oh gosh,
Like, speaking of
spellings.
bad,
I know.
this lady over here.
What are we going to do with her?
You know, I got an idea. I got a bottle and I'm headed out.
Yeah, right? Anyway, Mel, why don't you introduce our guest today?
Oh, yay. I'm excited. Well, our dear friend, and she's been with us a number of times.
With
but
the bad name.
With the bad name.
that
Well,
bad name.
I don't know what it means in Polish now, but it used to mean. No, I'm teasing. Anyway, Lindsey,
Never mind that.
Lindsey Kasprzak is with us today, and we know you all love her because she's.
Y'all don't mind-
Really? What are you doing? I'm competing with myself
No,
here.
I'm trying to share. This has been my week. Did you see my meme on Monday?
No, I
It
did
said,
not.
"This is how my day's gone," and the
Oh,
girl is
yeah.
face planted.
Yeah.
That has been my week.
Yeah.
All week long.
okay.
Anyway,
I've taken a
fine.
Facebook.
It's fine.
I've taken a Facebook hiatus, by the way. Nobody even noticed. That's how big it is. Anyway, our friend Lindsey Kasprzak, who is just funky, fun, awesome, hilarious, and we love her, and we owe it
And
all
she
to
puts
Bobby.
up with us.
We owe it all to Bobby Kasprzak.
Yeah.
Don't ever tell him that.
He's not watching.
how are you doing, Lindsay? It's been a long time.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, you've been busy.
We've been busy.
Yeah,
We've been busy.
Yeah, so I know we want to definitely take some time to touch into what's going on with the Pricity. Y'all have a lot of things going on. Y'all been so active, and as a member of the Montgomery County Fair Association, thank y'all for sponsoring the calf and the calf scramble this year.
I'm so
That was
excited for
awesome.
that.
That was
yeah.
I'm
awesome.
so excited for. Okay, so I have to say, I didn't really understand. Like, I got a call from a friend. He's like, "Hey, would you be interested?" I'm like, "Yeah,
What the
You
heck?
betcha.
sure."
What the heck?
And so we sponsor it, and I get there, and I just thought it was like you show up,
Yeah,
you see the kids run, get the calf, and
yeah.
all right, good for you. No, like it's like a full-on thing, and they get so
huge event,
involved,
yes.
and I was like, it got me pumped up. I'm
Yes.
like, yeah, like what else do we need to do? Like,
let's
do I
do
need to
this.
help you raise this steer? Like,
You're gonna like, can I have the kids' email
Yeah.
address, please? And I'm gonna check with them and,
Yeah.
and make sure they're getting fed.
exactly. I'm like, do you need some like brushes? I got some alfalfa. Like, I got
Yeah,
the
yeah,
horse
exactly.
stuff.
I know.
Yeah.
Come on.
I'm
Look
like
at this.
something like anything, but I met the young lady who got the calf, and this was her first time doing it.
That's awesome.
And so she usually raises pigs, but her cousin raises steers and all that.
Yeah.
So they're gonna help her. And then, but I saw a video her mom had posted of her daughter telling her mom that she got the calf, and she handed her the sponsorship
Yeah.
card, and her mom was just
Lit up.
almost in tears, so excited. And I'm like, and I get goosebumps
That's
just
awesome.
thinking about it. I'm like, I'm so excited for them.
It is a big deal.
Yeah.
It is a big deal.
Absolutely.
And
It is.
and I know several kids that have raised their calf scramble calves and done really great things and paid for their college. And
That's awesome.
It really is, and it's a lot of fun. It teaches the kids, I think, a multitude of lessons. Responsibility and
Absolutely.
and all these great things. And anyway, so thank you from the bottom of my
Yeah.
heart for y'all's foundation for doing that, because
Of course.
it's
We've
a really
got
important
and
thing.
we've got so much other stuff that we've started with this year, just in the past 2 months of sponsorships and getting more involved in the community and the plans that we have for the future.
Right.
I mean, it's just skyrocketing.
Okay,
up.
remind us really quick, and I promise we'll get to you in a minute.
Oh yeah, you're here.
remind us really quickly, please, what apricity is.
Apricity is our family foundation.
Wait, apricity or apricity? Apricity.
Apricity.
Apricity. Okay.
Apricity. So
you
I'm
think I would know? But,
That's okay.
go ahead.
So the definition of apricity is the warmth of the sun that you feel on a cold winter's day. So, and it was funny because during winter, like you'd step into the sunlight and you feel that warmth around you when it's freezing cold outside. And I'm like, oh, it's the Pricity.
It expanded my vocabulary.
See?
Yeah.
Teaching everybody a little word here and
it's
there.
good.
But
Okay, so when people have gone through a bad time,
yes, well, so the main focus of the foundation is y'all know I'm a huge supporter of support local.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
there's so many groups here, nonprofits,
there are.
organizations that are just local in our county
Yep.
that they just need that little boost.
And
or
they
that
can't
little-
always compete with the big dollars.
And it is, and
Yeah.
it's hard. And
Yeah.
so that's what Apricity's main focus is right now, is just supporting those smaller groups, getting their names out there, even if it's, financially helping them support, or if I repost their stuff on
Right.
Facebook is amazing what you can get out.
Absolutely. The
just by
traction
a
you can do.
post,
Yeah.
just by one post.
Yeah.
I mean, even events, like if I see all the time, like I'll put interested in going to an event, or somebody else will put interested in going to an event. Well, then it pops up on my
I know.
feed, like, hey, this person's going to this. Hey, you want to go too? And it's like, it's that
Yeah.
those little things that makes a
I
huge
know.
difference. So.
And now that Facebook has it, so whenever you mark yourself as interested, it puts it on your calendar.
Yeah.
That has
Oh, yeah.
changed my life. Because it's like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. Because then I'm getting that reminder, and then I'm looking at the calendar thinking, okay, I forgot. I really wanted to go to that. So
Right.
now it's on my calendar. And,
Yeah.
we have to live and die by the calendars, because otherwise I would be lost.
Yeah.
Even more so than I am.
I'm burning my calendar, by the way.
You're burning it. It's okay.
So what other new initiatives have y'all done in the last couple of months?
Oh,
That you remember off the top of your head?
Off the top of my head. So we just we've done like little sponsorships here and there.
Yeah.
And of course they're all nonprofits. But we've done a local open horse show. They help get scholarships out for
That's awesome.
exhibitors. Of course, the calf scramble. We did.
You went and visited Camp Hope?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So Camp Hope, we donated them back to them in November, and he wanted me to come out in December and see the facility and everything, and it was just a busy time.
Yeah.
And so I said, get with me in February, and he said, okay. So we did, and he scheduled for me to come out, and just seeing the actual facility and
Made
seeing
a difference.
these veterans that are there
Yeah.
getting the support they need, and all the things that are available on campus was, it was amazing. And it makes you want to like help more. you know?
Yeah, of course.
right.
I'm like, maybe that's why he brought me out here, just so I'm like,
Well, it's not the worst idea ever.
right? No, but it's smart. I mean,
yeah.
it really, it puts it in perspective.
Yeah.
And you really, now it's right there, reality in front of you. It's not just
It's
someone
tangible.
talking about it.
Yeah. And I think that's what's so really great about some of these local nonprofits, because just like you said, there's a bunch of them.
Oh, yeah.
And and it's like you want to help everybody, want to do whatever you can for everybody else, but you go and you experience. There's a nonprofit called Sleep in Heavenly Peace. I don't know if you know about it, but they build beds for kids that don't have beds.
Oh my gosh.
And
awesome.
it is absolutely astounding
It is.
how many beds they have built and how many more they have to build because of kids that are sleeping on the
this-
floor, that are
like this
sleeping, for this
Wow.
county, that are sleeping on the floor or sharing a bed
Yeah.
or sleeping on a couch or whatever. And they post the pictures of when they do these deliveries, and they do the full bedding sheets. They ask, what are they into? What do they like? What
Right.
colors? Come in, set up this brand new, hand-built bed
Wow.
with brand new mattress and all this new bedding. And these kids that are like, I've never had my own bed before.
That's crazy.
And it's like,
oh,
It-
and
yeah,
it's-
it gives me chills.
and it is absolutely astounding because, we're busy, but we see the problems in Montgomery County. We're involved. We're knowledgeable. We know people, but to really stop and think and to see the pictures of these kids saying,
Yeah.
I've never had my own bed before. And you've got this group that's doing whatever they can just to build some beds for these kids.
Well, that's
And,
awesome.
Yeah.
You should send them my website. So
I
they
absolutely
can
will.
fill in an application.
Yeah, and they do group builds, so you can go and you can go build beds with
Oh, cool.
with your kids.
Yeah.
And anyway, but it's a really great. But again, it puts things in perspective because you hear, oh, okay, well they're building beds for kids. Okay, whatever.
Right.
And then you see the pictures and the videos of these kids going,
Yeah.
crying.
Right.
'Cause they've never had their
had a
bed.
bed.
Yeah.
The things that we just take for granted.
Absolutely.
Every
Every day.
day. Like, here, let me get in my nice squishy bed.
Yeah.
With my plush covers.
Uh-huh.
And then there's children that have
Cushions
nothing.
and
Like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Crazy.
they're doing great work, but it's, again, another great small local nonprofit and even though that's actually a nationwide organization, these
But how
small
many of them are done
chapters,
here?
Right.
Yeah.
don't get that big funding. So organizations like yours are very, very important to their survival.
Right.
And being able to help. So,
Yeah. Well, that's what it's all about.
I know it is what it's all about.
That's why we started it.
And teaching Sarah some really great lessons
Yeah.
about being involved and knowing the community, which she
Absolutely.
has from the get-go anyway.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But our next governor of Texas.
Our next governor of Texas.
I know.
I didn't tell her I was coming here today.
Oh, she
Oh,
would
she
have been
would've been
upset.
unhappy.
She would have been like, she would have pulled a.
It's the pollen.
The pollen. I think I need to go
Sweet
with you to
Sarah.
the radio show.
I
Here,
know.
let me do my hair.
We're going to do that this summer as
I
soon as
know.
she's free.
Yeah.
And if you are not familiar with Sarah Kasprzak, tune in because she will be the
yeah.
governor, or by that
she
time
will.
she might be the queen of the United States.
Yeah.
Lady Sarah Kasprzak.
Anyway,
Lady Sarah.
anyway,
Oh, gosh.
why don't you introduce our guest today?
I will introduce my one of my besties, Miss Crystal Moore.
Hi, Crystal.
Hi, how are you guys?
Great. How are you?
Good, good.
And you have a special guest.
I do.
Special guest.
I have my granddaughter.
Here she
Is
comes.
she precious?
She's like,
She's dying to
She's like,
speak or make an appearance. She's 8 years old, and the pollen has taken a toll on her.
Yeah.
See, I'm
Yep.
telling
Yeah,
you.
within an
Yeah.
hour of dropping her off this morning, she was like, I feel really bad. So the teacher's texting me.
So
Yeah.
I know, but it is kind of it's crummy.
Yeah, it is.
I mean-
Yesterday she missed school, had swollen eyes, still a little puffy. It just really gets a hold of her. but,
Yeah.
It's
the
terrible.
allergies can really, I never really experienced allergies. I mean, I lived in Southern California for a few years and all.
Right.
You don't get this out there.
Oh, no.
I got here and like I was born here and raised here for a few years, but like I don't remember any of
Right.
that. And then I get back and I'm like, ugh,
I know,
I think
it's
I'm
terrible.
dying. And everybody always, I have allergies, and I'm like, you're
whatever.
fine, whatever. And then it hit me, and
Stinks.
I was like, oh, good lord.
Yeah, I tell everybody this time of year, and I promise we're going to get back to you, Crystal, but I tell everybody this time of year, don't come to my house unannounced because it's entirely possible I'm going to open the door with like toilet paper stuck up my nose just so it's not running down my face.
Yeah.
But, they say your allergies change every 7 years or evolve every 7 years. And I don't remember ever having it this bad, so I guess this is the bad period. I guess this is just the time in my life
You're
where I'm
number
cutting
8.
my bangs and have snot dripping out of my face.
You're number 8.
Yes.
Honey bangs.
But yeah, it's just but yeah, it's nuts out there. Anyway. So Crystal, okay, so you're busy.
I am.
Yeah.
All the
I've
time.
I've been busy. I guess the last time I was on the show was representing our business.
Yeah, and
our
that was
HVAC business.
2 years ago. Is that
Yeah,
right?
is
Year
it
and a
that
half?
long ago? I don't know. It didn't feel
Well,
that.
It doesn't feel like that long.
Yeah,
I don't
it
know.
doesn't
It's been a
feel
while.
like it, but it was 2. It was at least 2.
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe a little more.
Yeah.
So things are really blowing up with that. Our business is doing great. I've been active with the Republican Women
Yes.
for years, 6 going on 7 years, served 3 terms as president. And I'm on my 2nd term as vice president. Whenever I joined the club, it wasn't long, and they nominated me to be vice president then. But I'm vice president now, still very active. We just
Yeah.
kind of slowing down from the
For the
campaign.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
So the recent election,
Yes.
so the primary. But as soon as that slowed down, I kicked off with mine.
Yes.
And so
what? Your
my
campaign?
campaign for a board of directors position with the East Montgomery County Improvement District. It's position 5.
Good.
So it's a 4-year term. The election is May 7th, and early voting starts April 25th. So we had a very narrow window from when
Yeah.
one election was
Oh,
over
it's
to
crazy.
this
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Jump into the next
Yeah.
one.
So I'm glad this is my first campaign.
Yeah.
But it's a short one.
Yes.
And I was driving this morning taking the kids to school, and I thought, God bless all those candidates. They campaign for a year, and they're hard campaigning for 6 months.
Yes.
Because there's not enough time in the day.
No.
To have a full-time job and a family and a life and have a full-time campaign.
Right. Yeah.
We have a candidate over in Jefferson County that's in a runoff from the primary. So it's, so we've got municipal, coming out of the primary, then municipal, then runoff, and then we're going into the general again.
Yeah.
So
Crazy.
Yeah, and he started last
July, August. Yeah.
Last August.
So tell us about the East Montgomery County Improvement District and kind of what that board does.
So the East Montgomery County Improvement District was created in 1997. It was voted on by the community in East Montgomery County, but it's statutorily regulated by the state legislative. So the purpose of it was to boost the economy. East Montgomery County at that time was not a very strong part of the county.
Wasn't the booming metropolis it's becoming.
Yeah.
And
It's crazy out
so
there.
It is.
I born and raised over there. Whenever I heard about the improvement district coming, I couldn't foresee that. I couldn't foresee the growth that they did, but I was young. I was, teenager, nearly into adulthood. But the goal for them, what they saw, and it has transpired to be true, is they needed to draw in businesses to create jobs because the economy over there was just wasn't enough to sustain the community.
Right.
So most of the people that lived in that area commuted outside of that area to work. There wasn't a lot of jobs, and that was the goal, was to create jobs right in our community to support our community. And since then, it's transpired to generate millions of dollars a year. And what they do is they take a small percentage of the sales tax generated within a 158 acre area that it's just East Montgomery County, serves Splendora, New Caney, and Porter area. But all those businesses in that area that are retail or restaurant or industrial that generate sales tax dollars, that money goes back into the improvement district, and the improvement district then turns around and uses that money, and the board votes on and decides how much of the money goes into programs, how much of it goes into the economic development. They use it to travel, and I look at that as an investment. No one knows where New Caney, Texas is outside of Montgomery County, right? So there's not a lot of large businesses aspiring to come to New Caney. So they have to go seek these
They don't know what they
businesses.
don't know.
Right. So they're attending trade shows all over the United States and encouraging businesses to come to New Caney, Texas. Well, now that the Grand Parkway intersects with Highway 59, it's a major corridor to 45.
Huge.
And that's opened up a lot of opportunities, not only for our residents, but the businesses in the community.
Absolutely.
And so now we have Danny Signorelli has the Valley Ranch Town Center.
Yes.
And he has the Valley Ranch neighborhood. There's luxury apartments being built currently.
Right.
There are multiple retail facilities, and we also have a hospital district that's going to be coming into that area. So there's a lot of growth happening. So one of the things that I think is very important is not only are they creating jobs, but they're investing in education. And all of the students that graduate high school in the area within the district is automatically eligible for a $1,600 scholarship.
Wow.
Yeah, which is phenomenal. There's a lot of kids don't have that opportunity, to just get their foot in the door in college.
Yeah.
And that can be used in colleges all across the United States. It can also be used for trade schools accredited in Texas. And I think that's wonderful, and it's opened up a lot of opportunities for kids who maybe college isn't it's not an option for them, right? So they're able to do that. And another thing that, it's one of those things that they had a goal in 1997, and of course, things are going to evolve, things are going to change.
Right.
You need to improve,
And you've got to constantly be
Constant-
reevaluating.
You have to constantly do that. So, the board made up of 4 every 2 years. 4 are up for reelection, and this year we have 4 positions up for reelection. 1, he is unopposed, and the other 3, 1 is an open seat, and that's the position I'm running for. And then the other 2 incumbents have an opponent. I think it's drawn more attention to this election just because we're really at a pivotal point in our community.
Right.
As you saw in the recent election, we had some changes.
Right.
We will have a new commissioner coming in.
Right.
I think Matt Gray, he's the commissioner-elect coming in, he woke a voter base up.
And I think drew people into the sense of community.
Yes.
Because there has been so much growth. We have so many new people that have transplanted
Yes.
over there.
Right.
And so it is a new population. I mean, it's a whole new characterization. It's got a whole new personality than it did, back in the day.
It really does. It's still that small company or community feeling, but we are the fastest growing side of the county right
Yeah.
now.
I'm sure.
And we have people moving in every day in our
Yes.
community. I mean, they can't build the houses fast
Right.
enough. So you have people from out of state, people from Harris County moving into our areas, look for that small town feel.
Right.
And that has drawn a whole nother generation into the voting base.
Yeah.
People not voting because they knew such and such and went to school with them or parents went. It's not even about that. It's
about
they
the vision.
really are wanting to know, what are you going to do to take this community to the next level.
Right.
So I think the election spoke volumes that there's a demand for some change and improvement. I had been thinking about running for this position for quite some time, nearly a year, just in the back of my mind.
Right.
But I didn't talk to anyone about it. I had a lot on my plate with the Republican women. So whenever I kind of made that decision, I encouraged someone else to step in that role and let me, focus on carrying things to the next level.
Right.
And just where can I be a best fit for the community?
And help.
I had accomplished all the goals I set to be president of the Republican Club, and I really feel like a strong leader leads by example. But you have to know as a leader when it's time to move on.
And pass the torch.
Step aside and let someone else come in with fresh ideas,
Right.
fresh energy, and take it to the next level. And if you do that and you're responsible with that decision, you can really be a better benefit to your community, to your
Sure.
organization, for years down the road.
Right.
Well,
So
And you also started with organizations.
Yeah.
And you accomplished that and more than accomplished it. And then you're moving outside, and this is a leadership position where people select you.
right, right.
Right.
You have to be
You didn't
accountable.
just show up
Yeah.
and say, I want to be a member, and that's who they selected from.
Right.
This
Right.
is from everybody.
Yeah.
And so if you're elected and then you go on, you do leadership there, it's
Yeah.
it's pretty practical.
Yeah.
It is.
It
So good
is.
thinking on your part.
And I think, some folks look at, she represents Republican women. But listen, the Republican women, that is kind of what catapulted me as a person. Because we do so many benefits, charitable donations to bipartisan organizations such as the Mission Northwest or Northeast and the VFW
Yeah.
Hall and Porter. One of the things I think we need to always be mindful, and it's one of the things I love about Lindsey is you got to stay humble. And as a president for the Republican Women, we had a fundraiser last year. It was one of the most successful it was the most successful fundraiser we've ever had. But I set a modest goal, and the goal was to make sure we could carry the club for the next few years.
Yeah.
if we had no other money come in, we could sustain and still be successful. Whatever we made beyond that, we were going to give it, split that proceed, and then donate it to charitable organizations.
Right.
So we donated it to the veterans. And the Veterans Memorial here in Conroe got a portion of that, and then the VFW in Porter got a portion of that. And so we give money, and it's just a servant heart.
Yeah.
You know, you give money where it needs to be, and it doesn't matter the political affiliation, the culture
Right.
background. It's your community, and
Right.
you should support it.
Well, you know, and another wonderful thing about the Republican women's organizations, because I think this is important too, kind of going along with that, is it gives you the opportunity when you join. I mean, there are lots of organizations that give you the opportunity to kind of open your eyes. But if you're going to learn about your community, about what's going on, about getting to know your elected leadership and getting to know where the problems really are, it's such an educational opportunity. And I think it's great that you kind of immersed yourself in that, learned so much, and figured out, hey, you know what, I've got some great ideas and I can
Right.
make a difference, and it's time to jump in.
You're absolutely right, and a lot of people don't realize how accessible these elected officials are.
That's my biggest thing.
Yeah.
So,
So-
like, people are like, how do you know these people? I'm like, just
Just
go to a
watch
meeting.
them.
Go
Just
to
go
an
introduce
event.
yourself.
Go
Yeah.
say hi.
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah.
what? I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
no, they're just people.
Right.
Yeah.
And they actually work for you.
Exactly.
So-
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
That's
I mean,
right.
our meetings are open to the public. We don't charge you to attend. We have a light snack. We have a meeting this coming up Tuesday at the New Caney Fire Station. We'll be hosting our meetings there for the remainder of the year. But I encourage everyone to come. If you just want to meet an elected official,
Yeah.
you know, come. I've had more people tell me they had no idea how accessible and how personable these elected
Right.
officials we have are. Right. They're just people.
Well, and you know, and they want your, not only your input, but they want to explain to you what they're doing, because honestly, it behooves them for reelection. But you know, to be able to make those community connections, to find out, you know, hey, I've got this problem going on over here, and they can actually do something to facilitate that positive change. They really want to.
Yeah.
You know, most elected officials get in office or run for office in order to make a palatable difference in the
Right.
community. So
I have more elected officials tell me that they love attending East Montgomery County Republican Women events because people are just so down to earth.
Oh, yeah.
It's so personal,
yeah.
easy to talk to, and they just have normal conversations.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think that's great because the feelings are mutual.
Right.
Right.
And so we have really broadened that base to where more and more elected officials attend our events and support us.
Right.
And I'll tell you, the people of East Montgomery County, they want to be noticed.
Yeah.
You know, for so long, East Montgomery County has always been, you know, kind of like
the cousin.
the cousin or the stepchild,
Yeah.
right?
So I
The
mean,
redheaded stepchild.
as you first understand. I remember going over there when I was in high school, because you know, back in the day, and it was a non-district game because New Caney was probably 3A at that time, and we were probably 5A at that time. Anyway, and I remember, like, the vision in my head was pulling into the parking lot, and it was like this big parking lot with this itty-bitty stadium in the middle. And that's how I always viewed New Caney. So when I went to College Station, went to A&M, and then came back, and I went over to the East Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce, and I hadn't been over that far on the side of town in a while, you know. And I was like, what the heck happened to East Montgomery County? And that was 20 years ago. To see how much growth that has come there and the changes that have happened, and you've got the new humongous stadium.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just, it is really amazing, the explosion of growth.
Oh, yeah.
It is. I would have never dreamed as
Right.
a kid growing
been there
up,
the
going to
whole
school
time.
there,
Yeah.
that it would have
So-
grown so much.
So on EMCID, what are your specific thoughts? What is one of the goals that you have that you would like to see that organization accomplish? What's something you want to get involved in? Maybe that they're already working on, or a new idea?
So when you pay attention to what the community is constantly complaining about when it comes to the improvement district, it's transparency. So that is an issue, and that's an easily mitigated issue. We need to do better at communicating with the public. And I think that's going to be an easy, accomplished goal. The next issue, I think, is going to be something that it's not going to be something rectified and move on. This is going to be something that's a continuous thing we need to make an effort at improving is advocacy for small businesses. As a small business owner myself, I've seen how hard it is to make it in this world as a small business
Especially
owner.
after COVID, everything.
Right.
Yeah.
So when we went through COVID, of course, we definitely went a few weeks and our phone didn't ring because of the uncertainty.
Right.
But we were fortunate enough that we were in an industry in the HVAC business that you had to have AC.
Yeah.
So
Especially if you're sitting at home.
Oh, yeah.
So once that last little cool front came through, our phones started ringing. I mean, everyone was at home, so you had to have AC.
Right.
So our business didn't suffer like some of the others, but it broke my heart to see businesses who were literally just making it week to week and paying their bills, not make it, and close doors. So talking to other small businesses in the community, some don't even know what the improvement district does or offers them. And it just shouldn't be. I mean, there's
a lot of education.
Right.
that needs
Their
to be done.
information's on their website. But again, you have to know it's there to look.
Right.
Yeah.
And we really need to bridge that gap. And we need to support those small businesses in every aspect. And I'm not opposed to bringing in, other businesses from around. I know they have the industrial park.
Right.
They have businesses from overseas. A Mexico business owner has a facility there. But those facilities, we need to be working with those companies to encourage them to use vendors right in our own community.
Right.
Everyone needs an electrician at some point, plumber, mirror glass work, cabinetry work, HVAC. Let's connect them with businesses in our own community, like a directory.
Sure.
And then let's hold some expos, whether it's once a year or twice a year, to allow the local businesses to network. There's a lot of business network organizations. The Chamber's a great one. But the reality of it is there's a lot of small businesses run right out of their own homes because they can't afford the brick and mortar. So with that being said, they're a one-man operation or, very limited people. So they can't break away to do networking.
Right.
So if we had, no cost to them, we could host an event to where they could network among each other, learn what other businesses are in the community, and partner up with them. We're going to increase the success of the small businesses right in our own community. Well, you can't have a successful community without successful small businesses.
That's right. Yeah.
So it's the bloodline for that, and I really think that it's something that you got to constantly work at. It's a process to get those businesses connected, educate them. I know the Improvement District has the capability of connecting small businesses with state and federal funding, but they also have local funding. And a lot of small businesses don't realize they can go right to the Improvement District and request a low-interest loan right there with the Improvement District. Yeah. And the great thing about the Improvement District is, they have the power to make a lot of decisions on their own. So what they did, which I think is fantastic during COVID, they put a freeze on the repayment of some of those loans. If you couldn't pay it back during COVID, they just froze it, and some continued to pay and paid off their loans.
Right.
But that helped some businesses just stay open.
Sure. Well, and to stay afloat, I mean, just that little bit of hand up and to know that there was an entity that was willing to give them kind of that grace while they were getting through the
Right.
hardest times, you know. That's pretty
So
encouraging.
my goal would be that every small business in that district knows exactly what's available to them and for them, and they have a contact there that they can reach out to and get information. And not only that, the grant program they have twice a year, and they just, as a matter of fact, tomorrow I believe they'll be giving out the grants to the organizations that applied for the spring. But they do it again in September, and nonprofit organizations that are in our area, or if it's a nonprofit in another area, but they do services in East Montgomery County, those are also available to get those grants. So I think it's really, there's a cap right now, $5,000 max on the grants. I think that should be evaluated yearly, and evaluate the historical data from the sales tax revenue that's brought in, and can you increase that? Because the community's growing so fast. You just really can't put a blanket amount and then carry that on for years. It's got to be reevaluated every year. So, you know, there's a lot of nonprofits that take advantage of that. But again, there's a lot of nonprofits that don't know about it.
Well, you know, so for the past 2 years with Friends of Conroe, we've done our Thanksgiving outreach. We actually have branched out, and we have a location that we use over in East Montgomery County. And, you know, one of the things about it is it is such a close-knit community as far as people that have been there, have stayed there. But it's spread out, and it's hard to get to everybody. So, you know, getting that word out and just letting people know, letting businesses know that they have these resources available, and these nonprofits that are over there working their tails off, you know, that y'all are offering those opportunities. That's pretty significant. Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely an advantage to running your organization or business in East Montgomery County because of those benefits. You know, and during COVID, our sales tax revenue increased.
Yeah.
Why did it increase? Because Montgomery County was open.
And everybody was coming
So
on the
we
corridors,
had- Right.
59.
We had folks from Humble and Kingwood and Cleveland,
Yes.
you know, all around. We had people from Dayton and Livingston
That drove in.
drove down to come to our businesses. So, you know, that drove a lot of sales tax revenue for the improvement district then. But it's, you know, we're seeing more and more businesses open along the 59 corridor. One of the things that I think is really good is the improvement district works really close with the commercial real estate companies in the area or that service the area. So there is a lot of influence on mitigating which businesses come into our community. And obviously we want community-friendly businesses.
Sure.
You know, we don't want a waste dump or you know, X-rated movie
Video store, right?
store on our street corner that, you know, Susie and Bobby are catching the bus right in front of. So the improvement district does do a lot to influence the right businesses. And I don't really necessarily think that needs to change. I think the focus for years has been create jobs, bring in jobs, and that's extremely important. And it needs to continue to be. But I believe now we need to turn some of that focus and really support the small businesses because, you know, they matter.
Yeah.
They are the heartbeat of the community. And when we do that, we're going to see more and more successful businesses expand their companies. And you know, I want to see everyone succeed.
Yeah. What do you think your biggest challenges are over in East Montgomery County as far as being able to help these businesses grow or what, as a community, because, you know, Montgomery County, we always kind of laugh because there's really kind of 4 to 5 different personalities in a community, I mean, in our county, because it's so large. And we kind of run the gamut on development size and everything. And, you know, East Montgomery County, to me, kind of reminds me of what Willis kind of used to be, but now Willis is growing so much with Howard Hughes coming in. What do you think the biggest demands are? I mean, I know y'all have made some vast improvements in infrastructure. You know, obviously y'all are growing and trying to put in all the pieces of the puzzle to support the growing community. What do you see as y'all's biggest challenges over there right now?
I think the challenge would be for small businesses, and it's really mainly due to how the infrastructure is set up in that area. It was not designed for a town. There's no town square.
Right.
There's no main street. We don't have a commercialized district. So we have a lot of side roads, and you'll cut through one road from one highway or a main county road to the highway.
Right.
And so you have a lot of small businesses taking advantage of getting that property just to try to get some commercial real estate. But the disadvantage to them is unless you drive down that road, you don't know they're
Nobody
there.
knows,
And
right.
I can drive through the community, and I promise you I'm going to drive by a business I didn't know was there.
Right.
And so that's a real disadvantage because of how the community is set up. And that's one of the reasons why I think it's so important to be that networking vessel for the small businesses, so we all know who's here, who is down the road, and who can we use for this type of vendor versus this. I think that's always going to be an issue. Infrastructure over there that's a constant battle. Speaking of, that also plays a huge role in the growth in East Montgomery County when it comes to businesses. You know, obviously, the improvement district needs to be able to work very closely with the commissioner.
Sure.
The commissioner plays a vital role to the livelihood of the community. You know, they mitigate flooding, they mitigate traffic. So whenever the industrial park was built on Gene Campbell Road, that's a 2-lane road. It used to not even go through, but it goes from 1314 to 1485.
Yeah.
And it's grown so much out there that really there is no more real estate for that industrial park. Everything is 100%
Built out,
purchased. Yeah. And they're continuing to build. So there's a Lowe's distribution center being built out there. It's huge. The Walmart distribution center is out there. When you think about that, you've got nearly 2,000 jobs. Then you've got all the vendor suppliers sending 18-wheelers in, and you've got hundreds of those going in and out daily.
Yeah.
You've got a school on one end and a neighborhood on the other end, and it's just
And
terrible.
you've got all the workers that are
Right.
coming in and going out and doing shifts.
So the traffic's
and,
terrible. And only on one intersection, on the 1314 intersection, is there a red light. The 1485 doesn't have a red light. And that's the end where the school is. So
Oh, my.
the traffic's terrible. And, you know, if we were going to ever do that again, it would need to be planned better with the commissioner to where he's on board and he is building the roads to accommodate what the foreseen growth is going to be.
Yeah.
Well,
but
that's
do
what-
it in stages, of course.
And that's what I was fixing to say. I'm struck suddenly by how different the jobs of James Nowak and James Metz have been for the past several years. And not that Nowak doesn't have his hands full. He's got a city over there that's laid out like a subdivision. Okay, but over here we don't have any infrastructure that
Right.
you
No
know
centralized
no
kind of-
centralized kind of anything. And suddenly, you know, to say we need to put a light by an elementary school to him is like, what were you doing? You know, because that has been based on planning. I mean, master planning for years.
Right.
I was a child when they started that master planning.
And
Anyway.
I think, you know, Commissioner Metz has done, you know, a pretty good job at trying to mitigate some of that. He did create 4 lanes for a portion of it. It does need to be carried out
All the way,
full
right.
length, you know. But in his defense, he has only served 1 term as commissioner.
Right.
And that industrial park's been there since 2001. And it's just grown every
And
year.
20 years later,
Yeah.
you still need a light by the
Right.
elementary school.
So yeah, right. Well, the elementary school. Well, I think it's not real. Is it? I think it's a middle school actually. It was just recently built, but again, you knew that was coming.
Yeah, you know
Yeah.
it's coming.
That is something that I think really needs to be improved. Is the collaboration of the school districts, the improvement districts, the mud districts, and the commissioner's office to where we
ESDs.
can really mitigate a lot of these issues that now you see continuous complaining from the residents that are using those roads just to get home every day.
Right. And more residents
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
have come in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like Montgomery has kind of come a long way. I remember when, you had the small little downtown area in Montgomery, but it was largely a lot of rural area,
Yeah.
like East
Yeah.
Montgomery County. So there wasn't a centralized area, but, collectively, 25 years ago, I guess they started saying, oh, hey, 105 they're expanding it and we're going to grow. So we need to kind of plan this out a little bit better.
Right.
And, I know on the east side it's been a little bit different because it has been so rural for so
Right.
long.
Yeah.
And I think for so long, nobody really thought there was going to be too much growth past 1960 on the north side until then you got Kingwood. Oh, okay, well, then that's going to be kind of, but it's creeping because everybody would like, is business friendly and community friendly as we are in Montgomery County. It makes us very attractive.
Yeah.
But now it's a little bit playing catch up because of everybody waking up to the fact that
Infrastructure.
it's a great place to live and you can still be in Montgomery County.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, now it takes 12 minutes to get from 45 to 59. That was unheard of. 10
my
years ago,
gosh.
that was
Oh.
unheard of.
No, yeah.
No,
it
and
was.
you have multiple channels now too. You
Yeah.
can there's a wreck on 242. Oh, I can
Oh,
always
yeah.
go 13, 14.
Yeah.
I take the back roads. Oh, it's kind of nice.
Or
But,
the Grand Parkway. You
or the
have
Grand
options.
Parkway.
You used to not have
Yes.
options.
No.
Yeah.
And there's so many businesses over there that are attracting people. Like that Rusty Buckle barbecue. Oh my God, heavens! It's some of the best barbecue I've ever eaten. And I tell everybody
you,
about
Ellen.
it. Oh my gosh! But and that word of mouth is spreading, and people are realizing that it's not the step cousin anymore.
Yeah.
It's a booming.
Yeah.
Booming.
It's a hidden gem.
It is.
And people just, you still say, like, well, when I was having an event, I had Rusty Buckle Barbecue, and of course, I made a Facebook post. It's so good, oh my gosh! And people are like, "Well, where'd you get it?" And I'm like, "East County," and all this, and they're
People
like,
go,
"East County."
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
"You
don't
don't
know."
understand.
I know.
You don't know."
And it's so good. Unfortunately, I can never get over there and get
to
it
get it.
because he sells out. He
Yeah.
shuts his doors.
Yeah.
That's a nice problem to have.
Yeah.
So tell everybody where they can find more information about your campaign and what you want to do with East Montgomery County Improvement District.
So I have a Facebook page, personal one and a campaign. It's Crystal Moore for EMCID board position 5.
Okay.
You can also meet me at Rusty Buckle on April 14th. I'm having
Next
a
Thursday.
meet and greet. Yes.
We were having a meet and greet there.
Yeah.
5:30 to 7:30, and
And
it's
meet,
gonna be fun.
MEAT, and
yeah.
greet.
I should change.
Yes,
the
I'm
Facebook.
telling you. We collaborate, magic happens.
We'll talk later about
Yeah, we'll work on that.
changing something.
Yeah, but thank you so much for being here with us today. I know that
Appreciate it.
I actually learned more about what y'all do as an improvement district because I knew the entity existed, but I really didn't know how small business friendly you are. I thought it was more about luring the big stuff. So it makes me want to, as a Montgomery County resident, log in and learn more and support
It's
you guys.
going to be fun. There's a forum that's April 19th at the EMC Senior Center. That's going to take place at 6:00. So all the candidates for the improvement district will be there.
It's a great opportunity if you don't know what is going on or who the candidates are. Come out and listen, and listen to their ideas because it's important to you, and not just in East Montgomery County, all over Montgomery County because what happens there affects us too. So thank you so much for coming on and
Thanks for having
informing
me.
us. And
Nice to see you again.
nice to see y'all. And Lindsay, thank you for being here. Make sure you mark your calendar every Wednesday for Toast the Town with Christy at Mel. Every Wednesday from
Wednesday
12
at
to
noon.
1, even when there's pollen.
Even when there's
Even when there's pollen. You can follow us on Moxie Innovative on our Facebook page and watch it live, or you can turn into Lone Star Community Radio. If you're downtown Conroe area, you can listen to 104.5 or 106.1 FM. Mel, it's a beautiful day. I say we go enjoy it.